Hi, I'm Bob. I am running for Iowa's open seat in the U.S. Senate.
If you are the sexual predator and sociopath who murdered my sister Lynette, and you come to my front door to do harm to my girls, I'm going to use my Glock to blow your off.
All right, so there you go. Very strange ad there. He is obviously affected personally by some violence in his own family. His sister killed there. I read that that guy had been released from prison, so personal ad there. But that was a direct response to the Joni Ernst ad, which has been very popular in Iowa as well, talking about how she castrated pigs so she could cut pork here. But when you see an ad that's this strange, you know, JD, what's your first thought?
Well, understand there is a previous history for this, and political junkie that we all are, maybe we remember the late Paul Wellstone, in what was considered an uphill battle for the U.S. Senate, used this same type of irreverent production style. But the theme of this ad by this Iowa independent is so profoundly disconcerting. To mention the abduction and murder of his sister, and then to offer this campy kind of scene, to me personally, leads me to wonder just his state of mind, quite candidly.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Dave, your thoughts?
It kind of goes to the fact that having a great ad guy on your campaign can literally make you or it can break you. And I think in this case, it's the latter. The cognitive dissonance of trying to think about maybe this is a candidate you'd want for Senate, then hearing this horrible personal tragedy and then some of the policy messages just all seems to get all mixed up. But what we're seeing here is really campaigning in the age of the internet, where you have multiple competitors on this ballot, and you got to get your name up there and somehow be able to distinguish yourself so people at least look at you and see what you have to say. So it's probably not going to work in his case, but look what happened with Joni Ernst.
That's true, and obviously shows where you can take the Second Amendment message maybe a little too far in the wrong direction. Let's move on now, talk about the next ad, and this is a big contrast to the previous ad. In Oregon, Republican Senate hopeful Dr. Monica Welby is leading the Republican primary race right now by a good clip. Welby, like Dr. Ben Carson, is a pediatric neurosurgeon, but unlike Carson, she's actually running for office. Her ad is also deeply personal, but it focuses on one of her patients.
I was 21 weeks pregnant. I had an ultrasound. My OB doctor called me and said, there's something wrong with your baby's spine and that we needed to look at terminating the pregnancy. Dr. Webby was going to open her back and reconstruct my daughter's entire lower spine. She just hugged me and kissed my forehead and she said, it's going to be okay, sweetheart. I trusted her. We have a 12-year-old today because of Dr. Webby. Dr. Webby would make an incredible senator. She will always do the right thing. She will act with integrity. All of Washington needs to be full of people like Dr. Webby.
I'm Dr. Monica Webby, and I approve this message.
Wow, so there you go. I've seen it a few times, still gives me chills. Welby is leading the Republican challenger, Jason Conger, by a wide margin. He's been endorsed by Rick Santorum, and also in a recent poll, and this is interesting here too, she has a slight lead over the incumbent Democrat in Oregon, Jeff Merkley. So they're calling this one of the best political ads of this cycle, maybe ever.
Yeah. Of course, she has the benefit of knowing, okay, I'm ahead, so I don't have to go negative. I don't have to tear my opponent down. This is the kind of ad that really touches people, really pulls on the heartstrings, and then later can help boost the positives for a candidate, maybe even help carry over into the general election.
Yeah. Well, you take a look at this ad, and this is not only the effectiveness of the presentation, but her resume. The fact that she is a pediatric neurosurgeon, this kind of story, and when you think about the ultimate outsiders going to Washington, a lot of my friends who are physicians who used to say, is there a doctor in the House? Well, I'll be one. How about a doctor for the United States Senate? Monica is well positioned to win in Oregon. Not an easy thing for Republicans to do.
Especially when you look at how the GOP is trying to reach women. I can't think of a more effective way to do it than telling a personal story like this. And also, we don't have quite time to get to the Eric Cantor ad, but we found it interesting that Cantor is running campaign ads, a guy who's trying to become the Speaker of the House, looking over his shoulder a little bit right now.
Well, he should. There's a disconnect. His favorite for party chairman was soundly defeated by the Tea Party caucus last week in Virginia. Eric was a young man in a hurry, and he doesn't want to leave anything to chance, so he's trying to define his opponent in outlandish ways. Maybe we can save that for leftovers with potluck next week.
That's right. We'll bring it back. Dave, great to have you here as well.
Good to be here.
And we'll be back with more here on America's Forum right after this.